Hey everyone, I'm Tony with Clarkson Santoro, and this is our weekly real estate update for June 3rd. In this weekly series, we update you on the latest trends that are occurring in our real estate market here in San Ramon. Using our more than 50 combined years of experience helping clients buy and sell homes, we explain what those trends mean for you as a homeowner or as someone looking for a house you will love to call home. The current inventory is 59 homes, up from 55 last week. The average asking price of those homes was $2,086,000, which is up from last week's average of $2,039,000. 4 homes asking an average of $2,048,000 went pending last week, which is less pending homes than last week's number of 9, with a lower average asking price from last week's $2,110,000. A total of 12 homes sold this week with an average sales price of $2,057,000. That average price was lower than last week's average price of $2,309,000, and the total number of sold homes was less than last week's 21. Now that we've seen what the market did this week, we also like to look at 6 broader trends that help us understand the current market and, more importantly, give us clues on where the market is heading. The first 4 indicators give us a look at the quantitative numbers, which tell us what the market is doing. The final 2 indicators are more predictive of where the market might be headed. To quickly summarize last week's report, it appears that the market has shifted to a more buyer-friendly status, and that trend started about 3 weeks ago on May 12th. The first indicator that we look at is our housing inventory levels. The number of homes on the market has been climbing steadily since May 4th, and now stands at 59, which is over the amount of a normal market. As inventory continues to build, it takes the pressure off of buyers who no longer feel the need to compete over every single home that they look at. Consequently, it makes it even more important that sellers do all that they can to present a more compelling and presentable home. Last week, this indicator received a score of 45, leaning towards a buyer's market. This week, we give this indicator a slightly lower score of 42, confirming that the metric is now leaning slightly more in buyer's favor. The market inventory turnover rate is a key metric and is one of the best gauges to judge how healthy the market is, at least from a seller's point of view. Over the last year, the market turnover rate averaged about 2.4 times a month, but it has dropped below 1.0 for the first time since 2019. Today's measurement is just 0.58, lower than last week's number of 0.85. Prior to the market's slowdown, the average home was selling in about 10 days or less, but the average is now nearly 40 days, an uptick from last week's 30 days. Last week, this indicator received a score of 45, leaning in a buyer's favor. This week, we give this indicator a lower score of 40, another sign of an emerging buyer's market. The amount paid over asking price is another great barometer of the market's strength. This week, that number showed no signs of slowing down, as the average house is selling for about $281,000 over the list price, just a small dip from last week. These numbers appear to be conflicting with the last 2 measurements, but remember that these numbers are coming from homes that went pending over 30 days ago and do not reflect the change in the market that happened just about 3 weeks ago. We will be closely watching this metric to see how or if it changes over the next few weeks. Last week, this indicator received a score of 90. This week, we still give this indicator a strong seller score of 85. The amount over asking is still very good, but keep in mind, these numbers reflect what the market was like over 30 days ago. Sales price based on the 30-day rolling average declined a little from last week's huge increase. This week, the closing number was $2,239,000. Still well above the year's average closing price of $2,191,000. Last week, this indicator received a score of 92, and this week we are lowering the score a little to 90, reflecting the large amount of appreciation that has occurred this year to date. This is a trend to watch in the coming weeks when sales that occurred after May 12th begin to close. One of the 2 predictive indicators we follow is the Invesco QQQ Stock Fund. It tracks the health and valuation of high-tech stock market, and we have watched this indicator drop from a high of 401 on January 1st to last week's 290. But then this fund has risen back up in value to 309, a strong recovery. Last week, this indicator received a score of 35, and we are raising it to 37 this week. The last indicator we follow are the interest rates, which have been climbing since August of 2021, where the rates were 2.84 to last week's level of 5.25. But the good news is that the rates have fallen back to 5.09. Still a high rate compared to the last 4 years, but it is a good sign to see rates moderate from the sharp increase that began in late 2021. Last week, this indicator received a score of 40, leaning toward a weaker market. This week, we give this indicator a slightly better score of 42, reflecting the change in this trend. In summary, the most current metrics and indicators show a market that is changing from a strong seller's market to a market that is more friendly to buyers. Bidding wars are no longer the norm, or even common. Homes are taking longer to sell, and buyers are no longer rushing to secure a purchase. Instead, they are kicking more tires, and they have more choices to choose from. Last week, the overall score was 58, and we are lowering it again this week to 56. The next few weeks will confirm whether or not we have entered a true buyer's market. Given the huge run-up in appreciation, a pause is not unexpected. Keep in mind, the average sales price of a home in San Ramon in 2020 was just $1,306,000. Today, the average price stands at $2,191,000, a change of $884,000, or an increase in appreciation of nearly 67% in 2.5 years, or about 26% per year. I hope this weekly summary and commentary was helpful. Let me know in the comments down below if you have, or contact us directly if you have specific questions about what the numbers mean for you. And if you find this information helpful, hit the like button and subscribe so that you will always stay up to date on the latest real estate trends here in San Ramon. Thanks again for joining me. My name's Tony, and I'll see you next week with a new update.